Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Taisha. So it is June, which makes it Pride Month. Yay. So I figured I would focus on LGBTQ plus. I just like to add the plus because I don't actually know the rest of the acronyms um, for this month. And I figured I'd start with a good, funny book review this month for you. I have been slacking on my book reviews, but I've read a lot. I just haven't picked up my camera to record. Like I have a studio lights and everything, but it is so hot where I'm at. I'm in North Carolina, and it's like almost 90 degrees today, and it's just the beginning of June, so it's gonna be a hot, hot summer. But yeah, anyways, that's why we're sitting in my room in the cool fan. This month I will be talking, or today I will be talking about Playing the Palace by Paul Rudnick. So I came across this book. I was reading just like my morning catch up, what's going on in the world, and I read a section about like books and upcoming books, and they were doing an article on queer books that are fun and exciting that aren't so heavy. And they were comparing this. They compared this to Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I said, "Ooh, I love Red, White, and Royal Blue. Let me try it out." And I got it. I did the Audible version, and the gentleman who narrates it did a fabulous job. I always like buying books um, that I could also put in my classroom library, so that's why I bought the book. And I did read through it. Like as I was listening to it, I did skim through it, and I've highlighted a lot of things because this book is full of one-liners that literally make you laugh out loud, and that's about it. There's just okay. So there's two gentlemen. Obviously, this young man is Edgar. Um, Look, I've already forgotten their names. I'm so bad at character names. This is Edgar, and this is the prince. He is the Prince of Wales. I don't know. I don't know. I don't keep up with royalty. I know there's a name for it where you love royalty and royal culture, and I cannot think of the name for it, but that's not me. I don't care what the royals are doing. I wish they would just go away. No, that's not true. Yes, it is. So he is like Prince Harry or Prince William, if you want to do a comparison, and he is just a Jewish kid from Jersey. And boy, oh boy, the narrator really honed in, and the author really honed in on what I think of when I think of Jewish people from Jersey. I mean, it's just like that lifestyle, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves. I was like, okay, in my mind, this is what people who are from Jersey sound and act like. And I don't know if that's true or not, but this is my assumption based on the novel. I've never been to Jersey long enough to understand the Jewish culture in Jersey. Anyways, so he just got out of a bad relationship. I believe his name is Edgar. Um, Carter. No, Carter. This is Carter, and this is Edgar. That's more of a British name. So Carter's just gotten out of a relationship with a semi-famous commercial slash Broadway slash straight to TV type actor. So his heart is broken. He gave him like 3 years of his life. So he's kind of like down in the dumps. He's not really happy with his job. He's just kind of stuck in a funk. He lives in New York City, in an apartment with three other roommates. So I think it's four of them in an apartment, but they all have a good relationship. And then there's Edgar, who is a prince. He's openly gay, but he's not openly in a relationship with anyone. So yes, he's out to the public, but he's actually not actively gay. And there's a part in the movie or in this novel where Carter actually calls him out on it. He says, yes, you are openly gay, and yes, you're the symbol, but you're not actively gay. And I thought he brought up some really good points when he mentioned that. But anyways, he comes to New York City to do something for the United Nations, where he runs into Carter, and he asks Carter, hey, do you mind listening to my speech? And for me, that's where the reality of the novel kind of went. And then from there, I just knew I was going to be on a crazy ride that was fun and enjoyable, but so far out of reality that they might as well have been on Mars. And the whole novel kind of works like that. So Carter, you know, listens to his speech and gives him these suggestions, a lot of like body motion and fix your hair and smile more. And then they're parted, and then Edgar, the prince, you know, finds a way to meet Carter again, and they just go on this real whirlwind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They have dinner at IHOP. I don't want to ruin it for you, but they have dinner at IHOP. Carter is obsessed with the New York City bikes that you can rent, and I guess you can pay a monthly fee just to rent these bikes all through New York City, which makes sense if you don't want to ride the tube or the subway, or you don't want to walk, just ride the bikes. But so they go on this date where Carter rides the bicycle with Edgar, and they lose his security. And in my mind, I'm like, I cannot imagine Prince Harry getting on a bicycle and losing his security detail in New York City. Even if he tried, I just don't see it happening. And they're only caught like twice where the public recognizes them. And it's just like, that's kind of the absurdity of this novel. So fast forward, Carter and Edgar meet up in the royal palace, and the queen is there. Very similar to the current situation, you know. The queen she's queen by herself. Her husband is dead. Her daughter, I believe it was her son that was the king, that would have been the king, but he died. So Edgar's parents died in a plane crash. So next in line is Edgar. He would be, once the queen dies, he would be the king. But she's basically walking around the palace eating Oreos and slippers, you know, harassing Carter. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. Like, I could not imagine. I'm only using modern people. Again, I don't care about these people, but I cannot imagine Meghan Markle or Kate Winston. What is her last name? I don't know her last name. The lady that's married to the older brother. I cannot imagine these women, as they were dating the men, staying in the palace. I just cannot imagine them staying in Windsor Palace. It's surreal to me. And I could be very wrong, but in my mind, it's not accurate. And things like that in a novel kind of throw me off a bit, if it wasn't for the fact that this novel is hilarious. When I tell you there were scenes in here that I really truly did laugh out loud. I would have not finished this novel. So if for nothing else, read it because it is funny. It's a great read if you're going to the beach and you want to read something, if you're on a bus and you want to read something, or listen to it. The guy who narrates it did a great job. It won't age. This book will not age well. And let me tell you why it won't age well. They mention characters that are current now. They might not be current in 10 years. Carter is in love with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she is dead in this novel. So I'm curious to know how quickly he went in and either wrote it or went in and retracted some things, because she died recently. She hasn't been dead a year. Like, I imagine her body is still in mourning, laying somewhere in rest in DC. I don't know. She has been buried, right? Yes, I believe she's been buried. May she rest in peace. RBG. So, and then they talk about the Kardashians. They talk about Oprah Winfrey. Just when you put things like that in a novel, if someone picks it up in 10 years, they probably will know who Oprah Winfrey is, but they may not know who RBG is, especially if it's a younger audience. They may know who the Kardashians are. I'm hoping in 10 years they won't know who the Kardashians are. Like, I don't watch the Kardashians either. So things like that won't age well. It's like I said, it's hilarious. There is a scene, and I think I highlighted it, where they are sitting in IHOP. In IHOP, yes, eating pancakes. And nobody has recognized him yet, the prince, by the way. And Carter basically says to him, you know, what makes you human? What humanizes you? And Edgar is like, I don't know, you know, I was born into this, so this is all I know. And they kind of go back and forth, and he starts saying things, Edgar or Carter, that are so hilarious. He basically says, like, when Snow White sings, "Someday my prince will come," do you giggle? Have you ever said yes, queen, to your grandmother? Do you think royal flush sounds like a premium toilet paper? When Leonardo DiCaprio yells, "I'm the king of the world" in Titanic, do you always mutter, "I don't think so"? So it's things like that. Like, if I'm being stereotypical and stereotyping gay men, when I think of a flamboyant gay male and the reading they can do when you read somebody, like think about a drag queen reading another drag queen, I think of this character. I could imagine that he could spit these back all day long, and that's just him. Like, I imagine him to be very, very flamboyant. There is another scene in here. I'm telling you, this book is hilarious, where they're at a hospital and Carter is asked by the kids in the hospital. They're in a European hospital to tell them a story, and he tells them a story about the prince and Spider-Man. And one of the little girls says, "Does the prince and Spider-Man get married?" And he thinks about it. He has all this internal struggle with his answer, and then he finally says, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to ruin it because you need to read it. The prince and Spider-Man got married. Now this sends everything on another spiral, but it's a wonderfully funny book. If I could recommend a summer read or a book to kick off your LGBTQ Pride Month read, it would definitely be Playing the Palace by Paul Rudnick. Listen to it on Audible. It's worth your credit. Get the book. Get your highlighter so you can highlight all the one-liners so you can spit them back at somebody else later on. You probably won't be able to. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about that ability to read somebody like really quickly. That's not me. Although I have gotten better with my students. As a high school teacher, I have learned how to spit stuff back at my students real quick when they say stuff. Like when they throw it at you, you got to be able to catch it and throw it back real quick, or you will drown. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my review. There are more books to come. I have no idea what else I'm going to read this summer or this month, but yeah, stick around. Thank you.